into the grant live stream. I'm your favorite 71% successful grant writer, Superior Shelby, and I'm so blessed to have you in my live stream today. Oh, the weekend was definitely weekending. Okay, I enjoyed myself. As you guys don't know, I'm planning a wedding and I'm having good times and building relationships and stuff. So that's what I did with this weekend. Hopefully, your weekend was full of opportunities and an abundance of love, especially if you guys had a good 4th of July. I hope you did over there in the US. Okay, so in this live stream, we're going to just, talk about what we usually talk about, which is grants, how to search and apply to grants. If you are joining me live, make sure you like the live stream. And so that way the YouTube algorithm can send it out. And also be interactive, right? Because, we all friends here and I'd love for us to have a conversation. So I went over last week, we went over some really good grants that you guys can apply to. Usually when you are searching for grants, within the first week of every month, you got to give it like some time to be able to let's say the grant search engines, like the grant systems I use. And remember, the grant systems that I use to find all of these great free money opportunities is grants.gov, grantwatch.com, and Hello Skip. So when you're searching for grants and say you started putting in grants the end of June, and we're in like going into the second week of July, and you are still looking for that grant database to update, right? Well, friend, you might want to wait until the end of the second week. Sometimes it's like the middle of the month where that grant search engine or that site or database might update, okay? But what I like to do is consistently check it every day. That's simply because I'm actually active in applying to grants, not only for myself, but for my clients. But if you are a person who's trying to prioritize your time right now, then yeah, just wait until like the second week and you should see the grant database that you're using, the grant search engine that you're using, it should update. You'll see some new grants there, okay? So if you haven't found any grants besides the ones that I've been talking about that you can apply to, that's okay, friend. Make sure you keep checking Hello Skip. Make sure you keep checking grantwatch.com. And if you are in more of like a seasoned business and into government, then yes, check grants.gov, okay? All right. How was y'all 4th of July over there in the US? Okay. I know that there's a lot going on. So I just want to first say my heart goes out to all of those who have experienced the Texas flooding. I have been seeing it all across the news, all over everywhere in the world. It's not a cool thing at all. This actually reminds me of like Hurricane Katrina, low-key. So my heart goes out to those people. And if you are in Texas and you have experienced flooding or a lot of weather disasters, man, my heart goes out to you. And I pray nothing but safety for you and your family. Okay. All right. So since so many weather disasters and stuff is going on, Etsy actually gives out I think up to like $5,000 or $10,000 grant specifically for disasters. Now, not only do you have to be like an e-commerce store, you don't have to specifically be a Etsy customer or Etsy like store. Okay, so Etsy.com, they give out a disaster grant. You can also check that grant out through Hello Alice. Okay, so if you are experiencing any weather disasters, especially if you have a physical brick and mortar, which is a physical business, right? And it is experiencing weather disasters. Yes, there is grants out here for you. You can go for those disaster grants, okay? All right, so let's talk about it. Grants, free money that I like to go over, and I like to talk about. In this live stream, I want us to go over what I usually talk about, what is a grant, all that good stuff. I also wrote an article. I have a new article out. Let me show y'all my article. If you guys don't know, you can follow me on medium.com. Medium.com is kind of like Substack, but it's been out much longer than Substack. That's where I drop a lot of my small business articles, and I talk about the dark side of doing certain things in certain industries. I also talk about so much. Okay, they say if you want to hide something from somebody, then put it in a reading article or in a book. Well, my information is very thorough. It allows me to express myself more there. So medium.com, okay, the link is in the description. Also, I just dropped my link to the article on my community post on my YouTube channel, so you can go there, okay? Now, I usually put my grant list out there on medium.com, so make sure you subscribe to me on medium.com. I think I'm up to like 500 followers or so. And I'm so okay. Okay, sorry y'all. I had to get reconnected. So let's see. Okay. Thank you so much for waiting. I had to switch my Wi-Fi's. If you guys don't know, I'm in Nigeria. Okay, I've been here for about 9-10 months. So sometimes my internet can be very inconsistent. So please bear with me during this lovely live stream, but it's worth it because we are having a business bestie conversation. All right, so we're going to talk about grants. We're also going to talk about my article I wrote. I think it's very important that we dive deep into the dark side of grants. What is the dark side of going for grant opportunities and why most people don't even go for them? So I'm going to give you 5 reasons why, and then I'll give you the encouragement on why you should, right? And then, if you have any questions while we're having this conversation, make sure you drop your questions and concerns and inquiries inside of the chat. I love an interactive chat. And if you are just joining me live, make sure you like the live stream so the YouTube algorithm can push it out to those small business owners and entrepreneurs and startups who is looking for this good information. Okay. All right. So now, grants, free money that you can get. Hey, Jason. Hey, Laurie. Hey, Robert. Hey, King. Jason C says, I want you to help me. I would love to talk to you and see what your thoughts are. Awesome. I like it when we have like one-on-one consultations and we talk about what your business idea is. In most cases, what I like to do is break down the idea and to help encourage you on to understanding where's your starting point so you can start somewhere and actually keep things going. Most entrepreneurs, they really do believe that they need funding when really all you need to do is just start somewhere and start generating revenue. The last live stream we had, we were speaking, we actually did a full consultation. I don't know if you was here for that. And in that consultation, we had the nice young lady. I was calling her like my cousin because we're both from Florida. But she wants to eventually open up her own food truck. So what she's been doing, she has 4 kids and she's married. And right now, she's out of employment. So what she does is she takes the money that she has saved or she can save. And what she does is she's selling plates out of her house. So she uses Facebook as that social media marketing strategy to be able to put her menu out there. So people through Facebook, she might have a really good Facebook following. And she tells them, hey, I'm doing lasagna on Thursdays, or I'm doing a seafood pasta, seafood boil on Tuesdays, or whatever have you. And she uses that money. She uses some of it towards bills and then some of it towards, I'm reinvesting. So we talked more about the way the payroll structure, right? How she should pay herself and what she should have her goal should be for that. So a one-on-one consultation is not just about grants, but I am a small business development coach. And my purpose and mission is to help you get on track of thinking in the right direction so you can actually start executing and start making money today. So that way you can prove to funders and grantors and investors that your idea is actually worth the money. Your idea is worth them talking about it. Your idea is worth it for being in the market because people are actually purchasing your services and products. Okay. So that's what we talk about. Breaking in and out, and I couldn't hear what you were saying to me. I'm so sorry. Hopefully you can hear me now. But yeah, so let's get into it. Grants is free money that you can get. You don't have to pay it back. So there's no repayments. There's no credit checks, no personal information needed at all. I love grants a lot because with so many people going for loans, especially since 2020, since the whole PPP situation, you're actually like starting to see more and more people since PPP, honestly, not want to go for business loans because they're afraid of not being able to pay it back and so many other things behind that. Well, with grants, you don't have to worry about all of that stuff. You don't have to worry about your personal information being in some sort of cyber breach because you're not giving your personal information and submitting your ID and financial documentation. And then also with grants, you don't have to pay it back and there's no credit checks. So you don't get any dings or inquiries on your personal credit, which is really cool. Okay. So we're only hearing about every 10th word you say you are. So make sure, get out of the app and come back in. I think that's what's going on here because I should have like good connection. Hey, is anybody else having any troubles with hearing me thoroughly? Or is it just our friend Jason? I want to make sure we're all good before we move forward. Hey, how's it going? You can hear me? Okay, Twisted Butterfly says I can hear you. Okay, cool. So She Rose B it says mobile NSA says, what if my credit is trash? So you must have just came in, so I'm gonna say it again. There is no credit checks with grants. They don't care about your credit, friend, and they don't care about how much money you making, where you stay at, what job you working, because it's a grant. A grant is free money, a reward that you can get from another business entity, like Amazon, Macy's, Sephora, Ulta Beauty, Uber, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Etsy. These are big companies, Nike, Google, that give out hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to startups and entrepreneurs, seasoned entrepreneurs. So you can have the necessary capital to start your business or to scale. The reason why these big companies do that is because when it comes time to file taxes, friend, it helps them out on the back end. They could simply write it off as a tax write off saying, in charitable gifts and rewards, we gave out X amount of dollars so that way we can be able to save on our taxes. Now, what that does for us as startups and entrepreneurs is it gives us an opportunity to have the money to start and scale our businesses. So, not only can you get money from these big companies like Nike, Google, and Apple, but you can also get this free money from other like state and local funded governments. So, for example, say you live in Fulton County, Georgia, which is Atlanta, and they might be looking for Black women owned companies, entrepreneurs, and they want to give out $10,000 opportunities. Well, that's more of a first come, first serve opportunity, and it's a grant, which means they're not going to check your credit. They just want to make sure that your company is properly registered. You submit an application, and then they would pretty much give you the money. That is money that is like funded from like a donator or a sponsor or from like shared taxes amongst your county or your city. Then you can also get some of this grant money from other private investors and private entities. So, for example, Hello Skip, Hello Alice, the Fearless Fund, Black Ambition Prize, the Hope Project. These are all investment corporations, and they're also private, like nonprofit organizations that actually give out money to startups and small business owners so we can have the opportunity of having free money that we don't have to pay back, that did not check our credit, that we didn't have to be penalized for, so we can start and scale our business. So grants is so awesome because there's no credit checks. Now, um, like going closer, what eventually in this conversation, we're going to talk about the dark side about grants and stuff. And before I go there, though, I've been writing grants and winning grants for 10 years. Yes, I've won millions of dollars in grants. The most I've ever gotten one client, one woman who is an entrepreneur, and she's from the US, is $2.5 million. Now, granted, she was doing like a sustainable energy project, but it's so worth going for the grant opportunity. Because imagine building a 5 million, having to do like a $5 million project, and you don't know where none of this money is coming from. You yourself is a 9 to 5er, but you have this great idea that can change and revolutionize so much. Yes. Just recently, I helped one of my clients win $100,000 and I posted it as a YouTube short. Then last week, I helped somebody also get approved for another Goldman Sachs opportunity. So I actually post my grant wins. So it's very important that you go for grants. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about grants, friend, okay? So, you're so welcome. You don't have to apologize, friend. My sole mission and purpose as a small business development coach and grant writer who has been owning this grant consultancy company for 10 years is to make sure I continue to create awareness about grants and I teach you about what they are. So you go tell your friends and tell their friends and tell their friends to go ahead and apply. Now, not only am I a person who writes grants for startups and small business owners and also big like companies, but I've been able to scale myself out of my expertise, out of my years of experience, and now I live here in Africa, and I help other African developments get create their own grant programs and stuff, and I teach them how it goes. So that way, other countries can give out grants here in Africa, and they can kind of operate like how we do in the U.S. Yeah, I've been living here in Nigeria for the last 9 months. And did I get a grant to do it? Yes, I did. $5 million grant that was funded by the government. And then when Donald Trump got in there, they took it back. But thank God I have a good, long lasting business and I'm a good business owner. Okay. But so that brings me to how grants work, right? And what do I use for grants and what do you need for grants? I get this question all the time. So Grants, even though we know it is a free reward, you don't have to pay it back. There's no credit checks, no none of that, right? You do have to submit an application. Now, the grant application is totally different from a credit card application, friend. It does not work like credit at all. They want to give you the money. So they're going to ask you specific questions that narrow down to whether or not you are a perfect candidate or if you are actually ready to handle this type of money for free. How would they be able to determine if your business idea is worth the money? Okay, so on the grant applications, besides the first half being general information, so general information would be like your first name, your last name, email address, phone number, then the business name, business EIN number, website if they ask for whatever have you, right? So that's general information. Past that, you would usually have about 5 to 7 questions that narrow down to exactly what your business idea is, who is like your target audience, what is the problem, the main problem your target market or target audience has? How are you solving that problem? Right? What is your overall mission for your business? What makes you so different in solving that problem for your clients? Who are your top 3 competitors? And what are your like income revenue goals? Right? So you have about, yeah, like 8 questions or so that all would ask you in a different way, but pretty much all of the subjects that I just asked, right? So if you can answer those 8 questions I just asked, you are pretty much ready to go for grants. Now, in the grant world, it works, like I said, totally different than loans, lines of credit, and credit cards. And I want you to really think about this deeply, especially in the economic and political times we're living in when there's no diverse equity or inclusion. That means women like myself, we don't really have the highest chances of getting approved for loans, lines of credit, and credit cards. So there's no guarantee that even if I have good credit, even if I have assets, and even if I have a really good business plan and business idea, that I can walk into JP Morgan Chase or walk into Bank of America or Wells Fargo or a United Bank or whatever have you, and that they would give me a $50,000, even $30,000 loan. Now, with us knowing that, the same thing kind of goes for grants, but it's not as political or has anything to do with economics, friend. Let me explain to you why. There's no 100% guarantee that you will win the grant that you are applying to. The reason why is because you don't know who you are competing against. I'll give you a really good example. Friend, you might be a person that has always dreamed of owning your own hair salon, honey. Your own hair salon that has a nail boutique in there, and you also want to have some sort of lounge in there too, like a vibe. But then you are applying for a $125,000 grant alongside with somebody that you don't even know, that they're applying to this grant simply because they have this new tech innovation that will revolutionize the way you complete brain surgery. So, if I was a grantor and I had to compare your business versus someone who is going to revolutionize. Are we connected now? Okay, sorry, y'all. Okay, versus somebody who's going to revolutionize brain surgery, I'm telling you, friend, I will probably choose that other person. Thank you so much for waiting. If you guys don't know, I'm in not UK. I'm in Nigeria, so sometimes my internet is a little bit unstable. Okay, just stick with me because we're going somewhere. So I want you to know that, and I want you to understand that's how grants work. So even though we know that there's no 100% guarantee that you will win the grant, it's still worth you applying. Let me tell you why. You're not wasting your time at all. Simply because you never know when you might have the chance at potentially winning hundreds of thousands of dollars for free that you don't have to pay back. So it's like you're giving yourself a chance at that. 2, these grant applications are actually going to ask you questions that will help you tighten up on your business operations. There might be questions that they will ask that you will be like, I didn't even think about that. So let me sit down and let me actually think about it, because if I had the chance of having $150,000, what would I invest this money into to drive impact in my community? not just to feed my pockets, not just to create generational wealth for my family and to experience financial freedom, but how would I be able to? How many jobs can I possibly provide just by having this 150K opportunity? You understand? So answering those questions will help you develop your business plan, acumen, and also it'll help you tighten up on operations, right? Giving you more goals too. And also it creates network. So sometimes just by you submitting an application, you might get perks and deals and networking opportunities that you didn't know that you could have gotten if you would have never applied. For example, I think it's AO Fund and LegalZoom usually come together towards the end of the year, right before the beginning of the year, and they give out a $10,000 grant opportunity to over 200 businesses. Now, 50 of those selected, or 50 of the selected, I think, I'm sorry, they get more than $10,000. Now, if you just simply apply, and even if you are not selected out of the 200 or 100 or 50 people, guess what? You still get the perks and deals that come alongside with applying, which is you get LegalZoom credit. LegalZoom is that business resource tool that you can use to get your LLC or to complete the process of your business registration, like your LLC, INC, and also get your EIN number as well. They also have an accounting platform and so many more business resource tools that you can use. So being able to have credits essentially allows you to get an LLC for free, friend. Yeah, but you would have never gotten that if you would have never just simply applied to the opportunity, which is why applying to the grant, whether or not you are going to win or not, it is still worth it because there's perks and deals and network that comes with it. There's another grant out here that simply by you applying and submitting the application, they will still give you a free ticket to a really big networking event that you can physically go to and potentially meet your next high ticket client. But you would have never been able to get that free ticket deal if you didn't simply submit the application. So, submitting grant applications is so worth it. Okay. Not only can you potentially get $100,000 or more or millions of dollars for your project or your startup or your new idea and completely change your life, but also you get a network of people that are actually going to help you build. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So, grants, you guys know, is free money that you don't have to pay back. There's no credit checks. There's no personal information needed, like your date of birth, social, and your ID. You don't have to provide bank account statements because this is not a loan. You don't have to pay it back. There's no credit checks. So, there's no credit inquiries that can potentially lower your credit score, especially if you are in a place that you're really trying to build your personal credit. You don't need to go for loans, lines of credit, and credit cards right now. You should just go for grants, okay, friend? Now, you also know that grants are no 100% guarantee, but you should still apply because it's worth it. Because there's other perks and deals that come with it, even outside of you trying to, win money. And then also, we talked about the 8 main questions that these grant applications are going to ask you. Now, with us knowing the types of questions that these grant applications are going to ask you, besides the general information, which is the business name, EIN, address, email, all that stuff, right? Now, the best ways to prepare yourself for these grants, I say this all the time, like everywhere in all social media platforms, have a business plan, have a pitch deck, and have a 3-minute pitch video. Yes, I said a pitch video. So let's dive a little deeper. A business plan. The reason why you need to have a business plan, a professional document, whether you created it with ChatGPT or not, or whatever have you, you need to have it simply because it's going to give you and your team clarity and reassurance on the goals you should be reaching, right? So you should give some sort of timeline in this business plan. Also, you could use the business plan as a answer key for your grant questions. So, for example, that grant question that we talked about earlier, what is your business mission? You should have what's called a mission statement inside of your business plan. So, having a business plan is much more than just having a piece of paper and some documents so you can show for funding. No, it's an actual business pathway that you should be walking along each steps, climbing the ladder to success. And it's going to reassure you on what your business income goals are. And you might run across some extra additional business expenses with all this new technology going on. Like you might want to incorporate automations and AI into your business model. And guess what? Like that's an additional fee, possibly an additional subscription. So you have to stay on top of that business plan and stay on top of those expenses so you know what your profit loss should look like towards the end of the year or around tax time. Okay? You need to have a business plan. It goes further than just having a business document or some paperwork for funding. Okay. If you need assistance with a business plan, I write them and I will explain it to you in a one-on-one consultation. Okay. It's a $50 consultation, 45 minutes on Zoom, and it's so worth it. You guys can check out my last live stream where I actually did a live consultation. It was so fun. And it was just great. Okay. Great vibes. Okay. So, two, business pitch. A business pitch deck. PITCH. P as in Paul, friend. P as in Paul. I probably said that a little too fast, so I had to slow it down. P as in Paul. PITCH. A pitch deck. A pitch deck is when you are pitching your business idea, what your business idea, does, or what your service or product does. Essentially, a pitch deck is going to be all of the key factors that's inside of your business plan. It's going to be in a really nice PowerPoint presentation with pictures. It's like a visual appealing piece. Have you guys ever been in one of those free Zoom classes where you learn like some sort of business skill? It can be like real estate. It can be insurance, selling insurance. They do like those free Zoom calls, like, oh, every Friday, or you join me this Saturday. I'm pretty sure y'all seen it on Instagram, but they're like, oh, join me this Saturday, or comment down below, join, and I'll send you the link to sign up for my free class on Friday, right? And so when you go to that free class on Zoom, they usually have like this slideshow. That's pretty much that, okay? Now, what they are doing with those slides is they're breaking down what they do and they're educating you, but also towards the end, they're selling you either a course or they're selling you their consulting services, right? So they just pitch to you the whole entire time. So that is essentially a pitch deck as well, right? So you would use a pitch deck, which is the PowerPoint presentation of your business plan, and you would use it when you are doing investors pitches. Or it could be a situation where the grantor, so the grant application might request for you to upload your pitch deck. So essentially, they don't need you to go over the pitch. They could just go over each slide, hoping that each slide has a lot of enough information for them to be able to determine what your business idea is or what your business does. What's the product or service? Who's your target customers? What is the problem? What is the solution? What is your business mission? What are your income goals? And then also inside of this, what would be different, kind of, but not really, from your business plan is your funding plan, right? So how much money are you requesting, and how will that amount that you're requesting be impactful to your business development process? Let me slow it down. All right. So how will it be impactful to your business development process? Okay, so if you are requesting $100,000, you are not going to say, "I want $100,000 because it will be impactful to my business because I'll be able to buy my food truck." Dive deeper than that. Once you buy your food truck, then what? Because then you also have to go and like get the food. You also have to, are you going to hire staff? How many staff are you going to hire? What type of staff are you hiring? Do they have to already have a culinary background? Right? What does that look like? Where are you going to be located? Is this 100K going to help you pay for rent? If you want 100K and you want a nice food truck, well, half of that is already gone. Half of that is already gone, or let's say 60% of that is already gone for your food truck out of the 100K that you're requesting. So then break it down on how you are going to be able to use the rest of that 30K or 50K or 30K towards these other key areas that will help you start everything or to help you be impactful, right? So that's what a pitch deck is. It's the PowerPoint version of your business plan. It's that visually appealing piece. And sometimes you will use it when you are doing like Google Meets or virtual conversations with other grantors that potentially want to choose you for the grant, or with investors if you're looking for investors. Okay. And then last but not least, a 3-minute pitch video. The 3-minute pitch video is, think of it like a commercial. Think of it like commercial, friend. Okay. In 2025, during this digital age, everyone needs to have a piece of content somewhere on the internet about their business idea. You have to, because we are even using social media like apps to be able to find the best pizza place near us, the best coffee shop near us, the most aesthetically appealing Pilates shop. You know what I mean? So if you are one of those people that actually uses like social media search engines to find Amazon finds, to find two-piece sets, for your next vacation, or to find that next restaurant to host your birthday dinner at, then think of it from your standpoint of being the business owner. You need to have a piece of content out there. Now, this 3-minute pitch video is going to be that visual piece of showing and talking about what your business mission is. It needs to have background music. It needs to have B-roll footage, which is background rolling footage. So it's like with you sitting in a coffee shop, if you're going to open up your own cafe, like all of these like visuals and stuff, right? Trying to really show us and give us an understanding in this video exactly what your product and service is, why we should shop with you, why we should care about this, right? And then you end the video with your contact information. Yes, you need to have a website, okay? Now, having those three key things, right? A business plan, a pitch deck, and a 3-minute pitch video will truly help like increase your chances of approvals with grants. It shows that you have properly prepared yourself for funding. You have thoroughly thought about exactly how you're going to take yourself to the next level with some free money. And it also shows that you are so interested in your particular market that you have done enough research to reassure yourself that this is going to work. That is what you call a prepared, serious entrepreneur, which means you're ready for free money, which means that the grantors can trust you. They want to give money to a trusting entrepreneur. Even though you don't have to pay a grant back, you still need to be a trustworthy entrepreneur. Imagine you being a trustworthy entrepreneur, putting in so much time and effort to go for $100,000 grant opportunity just so you could like build yourself and take yourself to the next level and provide opportunities for people in your community, or even provide affordable housing for people in your community, right? You have such a strong business mission and it's so community driven that you are actually like super ready for this. And then you have someone that comes along that barely even has a business plan or doesn't have one at all and just thought about the idea last night, and now they win the $100,000 versus you. That's not fair, right? Exactly. So it is may the best, not really may the best business win, but may the most prepared entrepreneur win. And also may the best business win. Okay. Because sometimes it might be the business idea versus the business idea. Okay. All right. So a grant, free money that you don't have to pay back, no credit checks, no personal information needed. Okay. You know that you have to be properly prepared for these grants. It's not a waste of time. It's super worth it. Now, I wrote an article. uh, I wrote an article. She wrote, said B as in Paul. No, I said P as in Paul. Um, so I wrote an article about the dark side of writing grants, and I kind of want to go over it just a little bit, but I do want you guys to ask me any questions because we did go over quite a lot earlier in this live stream. So what questions do y'all have about grants? Go ahead and drop them in the chat. Yes, I do offer $50 one-on-one consultations, 10 years of winning grants. I have expertise in this, but we're going to talk about the dark side of grants because I believe my article that I wrote earlier this morning is going to give us all understanding of why most of y'all don't even take the time out to go for grants. So we're going to dive deeper into the dark side of grants. And yeah, just ask me any questions. Let's have a conversation. I love an interactive chat, okay? Our friend says, she be queen forever. She said, I just came in. What's the name of the grant? We're not talking about a grant. Let me see. I need a startup grant. Um, Definitely use, Hello Skip. Use grantwatch.com. Grantwatch.com is where you can find pretty much all the grants, and you do have to pay for it. Multi says, I'm moving out of state. How can I move my LLC? You can, or it's optional. So you're just doing a transfer. So that state that you move to, you will go to their Department of Corporations and you would just pretty much transfer it. Or you could just keep it in the old state, especially if it's beneficial. You don't have to live in that state that you start a business in. There's a lot of people that start businesses in southern states like Florida, Connecticut, because there's no taxes. Like it's better for the taxes for that particular business. So they essentially don't live there. They just, you know what I mean? Elon Musk doesn't live in the US, but he opened up a business in New York and California. So you don't have to live in that state. You don't even have to, like, you know what I mean? So you can leave it how it is, or you can pay the money and just switch it over. But it's not going to determine whether or not your business is trustworthy or not. It's not going to determine whether or not your business is properly operational or anything like that. Like, no, that's not going to stop unless you are going to open up a physical brick and mortar. Then that's when I would change things over. If that particular landlord or landowner is requesting that you have to have a registered company in that particular state in order for you to be able to acquire that lease or that land. But other than that, I wouldn't waste my time or my money, honestly. I'm I live all the way in Africa. My business is still based out of Miami, Florida. That doesn't mean when I'm in Africa, I have to, register my company in Abuja, Nigeria, simply because, like, no, no, I'm still operating. Yep, it is not illegal. Okay. She Be Queen Forever CEO says, I have my pitch deck, business, and marketing plan. Where do I go to do a pitch video? You simply use the backside of your camera phone and you will record yourself. And then you can use editing tools like CapCut or Storyblock to get your B-roll footage. And you can CapCut is really good because then you can add music and that B-roll footage all in one. But yeah, you would essentially just use the backside of your camera phone. It doesn't have to be like this whole professional production. It's a 3-minute pitch video. Matter of fact, the more authentic and original it is, the better. Okay. So that's how it is. Multi says, good to know. Thank you. Yes, of course, of course, of course. Focus more on developing, focus more on making money and reaching your revenue goals. Sometimes we get so caught up in the business registration stuff in the beginning phases of our business that we will actually stay stuck in that place for 5 years. Trust me, I know. I have clients that I have actually been having consistent conversations with at least once or twice a year, and they still come back and pay for my consultations and tell me they are still in the same spot. These are people who have met me since 2020. You understand? Oh, I still got to do the website. Oh, I still got to do the LLC. Oh, I still got to do this. It is 5 years from 2020. You mean to tell me you still don't have a website? I'm pretty sure you've made at least $300 since then. It is 2025, which is 5 years from 2020. You mean to tell me you haven't made not $1 out of your business and you've had this LLC for 5 years? You're already off to a not a so much of a good start. You mean to tell me you've had this business idea and you've had this LLC, EIN, and website and social media account set up, and you have not opened up a business bank account? So sometimes we can get so frustrated and so caught up in that part. And then also, not to mention giving grace here, because I give grace. Nobody's perfect. We're all human. Life do be life in. But like I always explain to y'all, life will always happen. And the Christian side of me always says this. When you are doing God's will, the devil is busier at making sure that he steers you off your path. Period. You think you're not going to get any type of somebody to come around and tell you and make you feel some type of way and have a negative comment or something crazy happen? it will always be something happening. You have to develop in perseverance and keep pushing, but don't allow yourself to stay stuck in that spot of just starting. I'm starting a business. I'm starting a business. I'm starting a business. And you've been saying that since 2020, and we are 5 years after 2020. It's time. And you have to persevere through life. And that is how you are going to become what's called an entrepreneur. The E in entrepreneurship is execution. It takes you to really keep pushing through. No, it's not easy because it isn't a whole new thing for you. And not to mention, being from America, the system is literally set up for you not to be an entrepreneur. Only the strong survive in this game, poo. So if you want to do this, you got to really put the effort in. And like I said, the Christian side of me, from experience, things will always happen because the devil is always busy at making sure that you do not fulfill God's will. That goes with anything, marriage, developing friendships that will help you out, graduating from school, anything in life. You never notice that some of y'all probably know a person that's went through this, or you yourself have went through this, where you haven't had employment for a very long time. And when you finally get that job interview, that one job interview that's going to really help you increasing your finances, help you build your credit, help you do these things, possibly buy a home within the next 5 years. On your way to that job interview, your car break down, the tire blows, or you possibly have the bubble guts, right? Because it's something that you probably ate at a restaurant the night before. It's always going to be something, okay? But you have to persevere through it. Don't miss out on the opportunity at all. And I want you to definitely start focusing on, how am I going to generate revenue? What are the small things that I can do right now towards my business, in my business industry, that I can start generating revenue and putting in my business bank account to show something, to show that I'm actually giving it a try. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. I don't know who needed to hear that, but I wanted to say that out of love and out of grace. Coming from, the question that Maltai said, I'm moving out of the state, but I'm going to move to another state. How do I move my LLC? We don't have to get too caught up in it. As long as you have an LLC and you are residing in the United States, even if you're not residing in the United States, as long as your business is registered, you have opportunity. Now let's start making money. Okay. All right. So, any other questions? Let me bring up my article. Any other questions, you guys? This is really good. So I write articles on medium.com, and that's also where I drop my grant list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link to the grant list in the chat. That way you guys can just follow me there and become a member. Let me see here. I have 4 grants that is on that list that you all can go for. I already went over these grants before, so I'm not going to go over them again now. You can check my live streams from last week. But yeah. All right. So I do post my actual grant list there for you all. Publish. All right. So I'll put the link here in the chat for y'all. I also put the link inside of the description of the video, so that way you can always go to it once we're done. Okay. All right. So I just wrote an article. It's called The Dark Side of Grants. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why most entrepreneurs miss out on free money and how to beat the system. Okay. So I just gave you some really cool tips on what you need to have before you go for grants, things like that. I'm also going to give you another bonus tip. I'm pretty sure I've already said this once before, but it might be something that you never heard me say before. So we'll go over that. Okay. All right. So let's be real. Grants do sound like a dream, right? It's free money, no repayment, business funding with 0 interest. Yes, please give it to me. Okay. In fact, we all know that grants is an opportunity of free reward that you don't have to pay back. No credit checks and no personal information needed. All right. But it's so interesting that there's hundreds of thousands of dollars every year that they go untouched, right? So a lot of people don't apply to it. I think I said in my last live stream that I'm a part of the, National Grant Committee, and we have these Zoom conversations, right? And they talk about applications, how many applications are being submitted per grant opportunity, and the application submissions are going down, which means a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners are actually not applying to these grant opportunities. So why is that? That's simply because there is a dark side to grant funding, and we're going to talk about it right now. Hey, Noni. Hey, Mark. Mark says, can I get a personal grant? I am disabled. I have a family with young children. Personal grants, just to let you know really quick, Mark, personal grants are federally funded. That come from funded from the federal government, right? I do not specialize in federally funded grants. I do not specialize in personal grants. I specialize in small business grants. Small business grants are easier to go for. It just I'm just better in that way. And with those grants, historical grants, personal grants like WIC assistance, Social Security, veteran opportunities, that's not my field. You would have to go to your local community center to see if there's any opportunities there. Keep in mind that it is federally funded. So what's going on politically? I don't know if they have cut funding or not. So you definitely have to check with your state and local governments. Okay. All right. So let's move forward. Um, uh, Darnet's Lab says, I'm very interested in a small business grant. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So let's go into it. So let's talk about the dark side of grant funding. It's not the grants themselves, right, that have a dark side to it. It's actually the mindset, the misinformation, and the fear that stop entrepreneurs from even trying. Like I said, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars towards the end of the year that don't even get touched, simply because most entrepreneurs do not go. Okay, they don't go for them. All right, so the number one reason why most of you guys don't go for it out of the 5 reasons is because you believe it's too complicated. I wrote here in my article, it says, the way I did this article, okay, is you have a dark side and the truth. Should we read it together, friends? You guys, I'm going to show you. We're going to read it together. We're going to read it together. Why not? We're going to read it together. Get us set up here. I wrote this article, friend. I write articles. Smart girl. All right. Okay, we're going to read it together because it's very important that you all know this, okay? It's good information. Okay. The dark side of grants, 5 reasons most entrepreneurs miss out. Okay, so this is where we at. The number one reason, you guys believe that it is too complicated, all right? So on the dark side, it says many founders see grant application process as confusing, technical, and full of red tape. The forms, the pitch videos, the business plans, it can feel overwhelming if you don't know where to start. Truth is, yes, grants can be complex, but you don't have to figure it out alone. There are people like me, experienced grant writers, who break it down step by step. And here's a secret: many grant applications are way simpler than you actually think, and they're more simpler than a traditional loan application. This is true. Traditional loan applications actually request so much of your personal information that it can actually be more complicated to get a loan opportunity than it is to go for a grant. A grant simply want to know, how would you use this money and how are you going to be impactful to your community, or how are you going to use this money to reinvest into your business? Simple. The second reason why is some people, is the mindset. Some people feel like I'll never win one anyway. And we talked about earlier in this live stream how not to think in that way, right? And how it is actually not a waste of time. So the dark side is the imposter syndrome is so real. Many entrepreneurs disqualify themselves before they even apply. They assume someone else is more qualified, more polished, or more deserving. The truth is, most grants aren't looking for perfect, they're looking for preparedness. If you have a real business, a real story, and a plan, you are already ahead of the game, friend. Confidence comes from clarity, and clarity comes from learning the process. Okay? So if you want to help prepare yourself for these grants and it's free money, then all you need to do is give yourself the chance. Go through the actual application first before you decide to apply so you can reassure yourself on what types of questions this grant is asking for. You don't have to instantly think that it's too complicated if you go through the grant process first, right? And it will help with that imposter syndrome or that feeling like you're less than or you're not worthy of it. If you simply go through the application first and you say, okay, this is how I'm going to answer this question, but just know that they're not looking for perfect answers. There is no right or wrong answer when you are simply submitting grant applications. There's no right or wrong answer when you are submitting grant applications. They are looking for someone who is prepared. Do you have a real story? Do you have a real plan? Okay? That's what they're looking for. The third reason why you don't know where to find them. I have a dedicated YouTube channel for over 6 years, and I have been telling y'all where to find these grants, okay? But even so, let's face it, the grant discovery isn't as easy as typing free money into Google. Many business owners simply don't know where to begin. That's exactly why I go live every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, because I review brand new grant opportunities, walk through how to apply, and answer questions from entrepreneurs just like you. You don't need to dig, you just need to tune in. Or you can use the main 3 websites that I use to find grants, like grantwatch.com. All right, let's go to GrantWatch really quick so y'all can make sure y'all going to the right place. Grantwatch.com. Okay, here you go. You come here, click on start searching, and it'll take you directly to the search engine. This is grantwatch.com. Now, you do have to pay $45 a month in order to have access to all the grants that's in this particular grant search engine. But you can go to grantwatch.com, friend. Okay, if you don't have the time to tune into my YouTube channel, to my YouTube videos or my YouTube live stream, every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, cool. Go to grantwatch.com. I'm giving you the sauce. Go to Hello Skip. All right, you can visit Hello Skip. Hello Skip, actually, look at this. Hello Skip has a full carousel of grants that you can apply to. This is a free website, a nonprofit organization that gives you a whole carousel full of grants that you can apply to. You sign up for it for free and you'll have the opportunity to have access to all of these grants. Make sure you use my invite code Superior Shelby so you can have access to more perks as well, okay? Really cool. All right. So use those grant search engines, okay? Even if you don't have the opportunity to be able to tune in every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, as I dedicate my time to be on here at least 1 hour a day for y'all. All right. So some people feel like it's not worth the time. It's not worth the time. This is the fourth reason why a lot of y'all miss out on this money. Some entrepreneurs feel that the return on investment isn't worth the paperwork or time spent applying, especially if it's a $5,000 or $10,000 grant. Truth is, grants are compounding wins. That $5,000 grant builds credibility. It gets you media mentions, traction with your audience, and increases your chances of winning bigger grants down the line. Think long game, not just one application. Not only does it do that, friend, but also you can show on your business website and on your business social media platforms, right? Your social media channels, that you have won a grant because you are such a well-deserving business. Imagine, let's say, for example, Pinky Cole, the owner of Slutty Vegan, gives out $100,000 grant to another business owner that's doing something innovative. You can post that on your social media channels that you have won $100,000 grant through Pinky Code, which could most likely bring in more new clients who are interested into knowing, hey, dang, if Pinky Code or if anyone from Shark Tank like Damon John and Mark Cuban, if these people believe in this business, then let me see a little bit more about this business. Let me see what's going on. So it's not just all about the money. It's also about other perks and deals that you get with it. And we talked about that earlier. Last but not least, you say, I'm not a nonprofit. All right. Many business owners wrongfully assume that only nonprofits qualify for grants. They don't realize that millions are given to for-profit startups, solopreneurs, and side hustlers. That's right, friend. Sometimes you don't even have to have an LLC or EIN for this. Small business grants are very real. From tech founders to beauty brands, delivery drivers to farmers, Grants exist for every kind of business. If you're creating value, you deserve funding. So let's shift that mindset, okay? Grants are not a scam. They're too good to be true. They are not too good to be true. They're strategy opportunities for entrepreneurs who are bold enough to believe they're worth investing in. If you've been doubting yourself, let this be your reminder. You are worthy of winning a grant. You just need the tools, the timing, and the guidance, okay? And that's when I go into where you can find me on this, okay? So, yes, that's my article about the dark side of going for grants. Did you guys like it? Like, did you guys like my article? I think it was very informative. I think it was very informative. I think it's something that most of y'all needed reassurance on because a lot of business owners, like I said, hundreds of thousands of dollars, it goes without being applied to at all every year simply because of these five main reasons. The imposter syndrome is really real. That feeling like you are not worthy. Oh, you beautiful child of God. How could you say that? You know what I mean? Like, how could you feel that? That feeling of it's you're not ready yet. You're ready. If you got the idea, you're ready. You just need to put that aggression and eagerness in the right place. You know what I mean? So go for grants. Okay. And if you need help, that is the whole purpose of me providing not only my affordable services to startups and small business owners, but my affordable consulting services too. $50 for a 45-minute Zoom call. Listen, it's so worth it. The reason why I do this, right? Because I know some of y'all be like, well, she don't got to do this. You know, she marrying this person over here in Africa and she doing all this in the African government. She don't have to do this. I got some writers in here that be saying that in the comments. So I'm going to reassure you my business mission and my overall mission, period. Okay. I don't believe in gaining experience and knowledge and keep gatekeeping it. That's just never been me. I've never been that type of person. As soon as I learn something new, I'm going to tell it to somebody. And even if they don't care about it, I'm going to tell somebody else. Like, I just always been that type of person. 6 years of dedicating this YouTube channel to actually teach y'all all about grants and to teach you about small business development and how to develop a small business, which we're actually, and I'm happy I'm talking about that, but 6 years of dedicating my time, that is not like, oh, I just started a TikTok 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or 6 months ago and just blew up out of nowhere. No, I don't even have 100K subscribers yet. So that means every subscriber I have earned that. I do this simply because I believe the game is free. The hustle is sold separately. I will tell you everything you need to know for free, right? But if you don't put the work in behind what you learn, then you get what you put in. You know what I mean? Your input determines your output. Right. Now, you do have people like me, small business development coaches, that you need to be willing to trust, to ask them questions about your development process, to reassure you on what are the steps you need to be taking to start making money today. What are the steps you need to be taking to create awareness about what your business is about? What can you do? And sometimes you need that extra push. Yeah. You ever heard of like an accountability partner? Well, you get all of that in one with a small business development coach. And I know, friend, since 2020, with all these financial coaches and coaches through social media and stuff, it's not appealing to even hear that you need a business coach. But you have to reassure yourself and you got to remind yourself that you've most likely heard someone, right? Someone who makes millions of dollars in your same business industry say, I have a business coach. I've done it because I have paid for the necessary education and the advice to have someone walk me through this. Matter of fact, a lot of these like expos and conferences and all that stuff, that's one of the main things they say. Like, you need to have a business coach, right? But there's a difference. There's levels to this business coaching thing, right? There's levels to developing a business coach or having a business coach, right? So you have a small business development coach, which is myself, which is where I help startups and small business owners create that execution strategy and that pathway. And also, we talk about grants and so many different funding opportunities for you. I also connect you with other, of my business resources and friends that can potentially help you go to that next level. Okay. So it's networking as well, it's perks and deals as well. In the business world, everything that you do, yes, you have to look for a return on your investment. Investment is also time, not just money. Okay. But I have reassured you through this entire live stream that applying to grants is not a waste of time. It comes with perks and deals, it comes with networking opportunities and media exposure. And also, having a small business development coach will give you that extra accountability and that push and that drive and that reassurance and clarity on the next steps you need to take to go to the next level or to at least start the business. Okay. So, my booking link is in the description below. So yeah, that's all I had to say. Also, I feel like more of our live streams, I talk about grants every morning, so I won't stop talking about grants, right? But we're also going to start changing up the conversation and we're going to talk more about small business development. I want us to just like start diving deeper into different business ideas and what it looks like and what I would do if I was in a situation. So I'm probably going to start like looking through social media and using some of these business articles, especially if some of these businesses had to have like new marketing campaigns. Some of the businesses like that have possibly failed and what would I do differently. So we would have more conversations like that. And also I'm going to produce more videos like that, kind of like business news but still educational, simply because I want you guys to learn from other people's mistakes. And also I want you to have a different outlook and a different way of looking at how to develop in your particular market industry. Like for example, what would I do if I own my own cleaning business in Florida? Who would be my target market? What if I want to do my own trucking company? Which state would I start in and why? So we will talk more about stuff like that. Okay. All right. So what we talking about? Hey, LaShawn, my new EIM just came through. Congratulations. I appreciate your article. Thank you. I'm starting a surplus business service. This is super cool. Surplus business service. What is that? Let me see. Surplus. So what does that do? A surplus business service can refer to several things, such as services related to handling excess business inventory, services that help businesses dispose of surplus assets, or services that facilitate the purchase of surplus government property. Specifically, it can refer to services related to managing surplus inventory, which is excess stock beyond a company's needs. Additionally, it can encompass services like those offered by state agencies for surplus property, which help public and nonprofit organizations acquire federal surplus property. Furthermore, it can involve services like GSA auctions, where the public can bid on surplus government property. So, inventory management is pretty much also known as excess inventory, is when a business has more stock than it needs to meet the demand and safety stock levels. Services in this category help businesses manage, reduce, or dispose of their surplus industry. Oh, okay, that's cool. Overage business. It is a real estate helping people who've to who've gone through foreclosures and claimed their money. Oh, okay, super. Okay, that's cool. Yo, they have some in Miami. That's really dope. Yeah, so okay, that's really cool. So um no, it's fine. It's fine. So that's really cool. So people who have experienced foreclosures, you will be helping them claim their money going through a foreclosure. That's really cool. There's a lot of people, especially in Florida, that are going through foreclosures and have went through foreclosures. So yeah, that I think that would be really good in like big states like California, New York, Florida, especially what goes is when we have like economic downturns like this. Yeah. Uh huh. Yep. All right. So, any questions? Do I have any like last minute questions? We went over my article, the dark side of grants, 5 reasons why most entrepreneurs miss out on free money. We talked about what grants are. We talked about gave you some encouragement. I'm fine. Let me put my information in the chat for you. Okay. So that way you can reach out to me. Now, if you text the word grants to my phone number, then I will send you my direct booking link via text. So it might be easier for you to have access to. Now, you can always text hashtag grants to my number, which is 855-731-1487. That's 855-731-1487. That is my business number. Do not call it because I am out of the United States. I'd have to pay per minute. Okay. And so, no, I don't accept calls. But if you text that number, then I will send you my direct booking link. Please text me only if you are ready. It's $50 for a 45-minute one-on-one consultation. Yes, we do talk about grants, but I would like to know more about your business, where you currently are, so we can actually talk about the opportunities that serve in your favor. No point in me telling you about startup grants if you're not a startup and you've actually been generating money. No point in me telling you about a big grant if you are not a seasoned business and you are just starting and you don't even have your LLC yet. So we need to have a one-on-one consultation, especially if you are a person who is truly interested in going for free money and grants and you don't have your business plan, pitch deck, or a 3-minute pitch video yet. You might need some help with developing those things. Now, I will write the business plan and pitch deck for you, but the 3-minute pitch video, I will actually give you a personalized script that will be for you that you can actually go by and you can start recording your 3-minute pitch video today. Okay. So, okay, friend, any last minute questions? I'm letting y'all go ahead and type everything out. We've been on here for about an hour, almost an hour and 10 minutes. This was really good. I had fun. Okay. Mm. Okay, so She Be Queen Forever CEO says, can you also review my pitch deck and plan? Absolutely. You want to make sure you bring your business plan and pitch deck to the 45-minute Zoom so we can go over it. What I usually like inside of our consultation is you could send me the business plan and pitch deck first before via email before we get on Zoom. But the pitch deck itself, I like for you to actually go through the pitch with me so I can have an understanding of exactly how you are using this pitch deck and how you're pitching. Okay. If you don't know how to pitch, then that's fine. Then I would go through the pitch deck with you and I would give you some pointers on how to properly and professionally deliver your pitch if you were asked to do like a pitch for any reason. Okay. So, yeah, it's $50 for the one-on-one consultation. All right. So if there is no other last minute questions, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me for this 1 hour. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern time. We get on live and we dedicate every day to be on here, unless if there's like some sort of weather issues and internet inconsistencies. But in most cases, I'm here 9 a.m. Eastern time every day. I will see you all tomorrow, same time tomorrow, friend. Okay. And yeah, this was great. All right. I'll see y'all later. Make sure you text hashtag grants to my number. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe and turn on push notifications so you won't miss out on my live stream tomorrow. You will get notified. Okay, friend. The article that we went over, the link is on my community post and in the chat. So, yeah. All right. I will see you guys soon. Bye bye for now.